Our story begins with a man named Idun. He was traveling from a foreign nation to a city known as Gligil in order to investigate a strange staff he found. We start with him approaching the guards of the city. "Yes?" he asks the guards. "Do you have your information to get in?" Idun: "Yes, I have it right here." Reaching into a small pouch, he pulls it out and hands it to him. The guards, wearing chainmail armor and metal helmets, accept this. Carrying metal staves, they bang them against the city walls in order to open them. The walls were tall and circular, circling around the entire city. The gate was made of wood in order to keep in creatures that could potentially be imprisoned on the inside. The doors were opened. As Idun goes through the city, the architecture, he realizes, is much different from his own. It has many log cabins, people wearing, looks like, Western pioneer-style clothing, with leathers, coon hats, and other things of that type. So, Idun himself was wearing heavy cotton, with the seeds still sewn into it, with brown leather boots. He had well-kept brown hair and green eyes, just like most people from his homeland, and white skin as well. He began approaching the library. Seeing that there was no one at the door, he knocked on the double doors of the building. It opened, and a librarian greeted him. "Yes?" he says. Idun replies, "I'm here to get some information from this library. Do you mind if I have a quick look around?" "Oh, sure," the librarian replies. "Just remember to be silent. This is a library. We had some incidents with loud noise earlier. Someone was shuffling around with some things on the inside." "Oh, I see," Idun says. "I guess some people are rude like that. How often does that happen around here?" The librarian: "Well, not too often. He was a bit strange. He had a heavy backpack and it looks like black clothing." "Oh well." Idun walks into the library and begins searching. Searching through the section on the Cosmari, he finds the thing he was looking for. A book. The book he found was about general information on Cosmari. He knew it would be helpful to discover what the staff was, as they were the only ones who knew how to enchant things. Well, at least they were the originators of the knowledge. It may have spread to humans and other cultures over the course of time. He began to look through the book. He read this information. Cosmari are creatures of ideas. Each of them represents something. Some of them have smaller concepts, some of them have more free will while others don't. Some of them just serve a function in the nature of the universe, while others can do things as they please. They also have strange and unknown abilities, unlike any form of magic that anyone has seen before. And he was cut short when a loud explosion went off in the back of the library, scattering books and things to the ground. Hearing the explosion, Idun was terrified and immediately began running for the entrance. He saw it looks like the man in black described from before, with the heavy pack on and a bow drawn. He immediately looked at the whole library and said, "Where is the ninja? He should be wearing casual clothing from the area." Idun had no clue what was going on, so he began running around him and towards the entrance, when he noticed something. It looked like a faded figure with purple smoke coming off of him, wearing the casual clothing as before, trying to sneak out the blown hole in the wall. Idun looked at him and said, "What are you doing?" The figure immediately stopped and looked surprised, and then bolted into the street. Idun chased him, curious as to what was happening, and shouted, "Hey, you in the purple with smoke, what are you doing? And why are you running? I just want to talk to you." The figure began running. He was way too fast. His physique was too good for Idun to catch up to, but he kept running. Idun drew his staff in case a confrontation broke out, and it did. The figure pulled out 4 shuriken and threw them at him. Idun then began speaking in some unknown language, and shadows emerged from the purple gem on the end of the staff, slicing the shuriken in half. The figure looked surprised, and then instantly became a blur and darted towards an alleyway. Idun followed him in between buildings, and then as he got there, he was gone. He looked up to see him on top of a building. And he says, "Calm down, I just want to—" He was interrupted as the figure began jumping away. He could not catch him. After the mysterious ghostly figure got away, Idun decided it'd be best to lay low and avoid any sort of attention with the strange battle happening back at the library. So he decided to head to an inn. Walking up to the inn, he saw guards posted there. One of them walked up to him and said, "Hello, sir." "Yes," Idun replied. He said, "One of my fellow guards saw you emerge shadows from your staff before. He says, as law states here, any magical artifact is to be confiscated by the local authorities." Idun, "Well, I'm not from here. I'm from a foreign place. I'm here to investigate something, and this is mine. You can't take it." "Very well," the guard says. "Go inside. It's not like I could take it from you anyway." "Alright then," Idun says, and goes in. On the inside, strangely enough, he spotted the same figure who got away before, only this time he was normal, and not ghostly in any way. Idun walked up to the table and sat down in front of him. He says, "Hello." The other figure replies, scowling at him, "You are incredibly hard to get rid of." Idun, "Well, I was just curious as to how you were doing all that earlier." "Well," the figure says, "I was curious about how you saw me when I was invisible." "Wait, you were invisible?" Idun says. "Yes," says the other figure. Idun, "What's your name?" "My name is Gusto," he says, and reaches out his hand. They shake hands together. Idun, "So, who are you exactly?" But then the doors opened, and guards began storming into the room. There were nearly 20 guards in the room. Idun, terrified, didn't know what to do, but then he had an idea. He stood up and began chanting in a dark tone, much deeper than his normal voice. The purple gem on his staff lit into flame, and then approached his hand. A ball of purple flames appeared in his palm. Idun turned to the guards and said, "This is mine, you're not taking it. Do not come any closer." Each of them said, "Sorry, but we have a duty," and began approaching him. Idun did not know what to do, so he began to aim the fire towards them, planning on releasing it, but then it was snuffed out all of a sudden. He did not know what had happened. Then one of the guards approached to swing a staff at him. He ducked under it. Then another. He began getting surrounded. Each swing, some hit, some missed. He began feeling the bludgeoned blows against his head. But then all of a sudden, all the lights in the room, all candles were snuffed out, and every single window closed. He did not know what was happening. Then, in total darkness, he decided to draw on the staff's power. One person, reaching around trying to figure out where he was, bumped into him and touched the staff. As they both touched it, his surroundings changed to an area of a completely black night starry sky. However, the ground was made of, it looks like, purple fluorescent paint merging with red and black as well. He was not able to understand what some of the colors were. Standing on this, they saw one figure with ash gray hands, elongated fingers, completely cloaked in black. He looked at it and was terrified. And that is where we will close this chapter of the story.